Are you the victim of a group of players who know every word and every number of the Monsters Manual by heart, but do you still want to create a challenging encounter for those people using maybe one of the most famous and most dangerous and most feared beasts in all of Dungeons & Dragons? Maybe you should look into the Book of the Tarrasque. First things first, I know what you're all thinking, and the answer is no. This book has nothing to do with the name of my channel, and I am in no way affiliated with Encoded Designs. That said, it almost immediately caught my eye when they sent me this link to ask me if I could review this book. I've read this thing cover to cover because, well, it involves a Tarrasque, and I have to say, although it is a very situational book, once you get to use it when your players are high enough level, you are going to have a lot of fun with this thing. Basically, you can split up this book into two major chapters. The first one being a lot of information about the Tarrasque across all editions and even outside of Dungeons & Dragons. Of course, some optional rules for running the Tarrasque, and in the back of this book is a very cool adventure involving the Tarrasque, of course, for player characters from level 15 to level 20. Also, have I said that the foreword of this book has been written by none other than Ed Greenwood? I have to state that if you like this book and you're interested in this thing, I am giving one away in my giveaway video, so please check out my giveaway video in the description below, because I'm giving one of these guys away to one of you guys. So what is there to write about the Tarrasque? Well, basically a lot of people have been complaining about the Tarrasque in the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Monsters Manual to be just not old school enough, because they took away a lot of the cool things that Tarrasque was all about. For example, some very vicious regeneration, but all of that is back. It is being brought back by the guys from Encoded Designs. John Arcadian himself is a very big fan of the Tarrasque. You can really feel it in his writing in this book. When you open this book, you immediately feel the love for this enormous gargantuan beast, and you get a stat page that basically sums up all the Tarrasque can do in a very handy page. Of course, you can also look up the stats in the Monsters Manual, but what he does here is really convenient, because he lists up what the Tarrasque does in one turn, what it can do in one turn. You can even mark how many special abilities you've used, and he also adds some very cool regeneration and some other cool abilities. Yes, you're hearing this correctly. This guy is bringing back regeneration, lightning breath, trample, rush, and there is even an entire rule set for handling people who are being eaten by the Tarrasque. Right here you can see all the parts where you can end up if you are swallowed by the Tarrasque, and all of these zones do different kinds of damage, have different kinds of effects on a player character. So when you finish reading about some of the special abilities that are going to keep your players guessing, you get an entire chapter about how to implement a Tarrasque into your campaign. Also, he talks about a lot of the tactics players tend to use against the Tarrasque and how you can counter them by being prepared. Then there is an entire 4-page chapter about magic items your players could very well use against the Tarrasque, and this is also a good time for me to talk about this artwork. It is not the same artwork as we are used to from other publishers. It is a little bit more cartoony in my eyes, and I really like it. I'm not going to spoil everything that's in here, but after these chapters, he talks a lot about the history of the Tarrasque, some of the seeds you can use to put the Tarrasque into your campaign, even some tips and tricks for changing the Tarrasque for your campaign, and a lot more. You can really feel that John, while writing this book, was really obsessed by this creature. I hear you asking, do I really need to buy an entire book to run one creature? And the answer is no, you don't, because in the back of this book, while the second half of this book is a campaign, like a mini adventure from level 15 to level 20 called The Machine of Unmaking. It is a really cool adventure, although I would not run it as it is written right here, because it's just a little tiny bit too much for me. This adventure, of course, comes with everything you'd expect from a good adventure, like, for example, maps, difficulty classes for looking up information about the Tarrasque when you're in a library, stat blocks for almost all the enemies you can encounter in this mini adventure. And look at this, there's even a challenge rating 10 mini Tarrasque in this book. So you can really warm up your players to what's coming. And of course, more stat blocks with, for example, an Earth Elemental. This might be the most interesting part in the entire book. There is the Tarrasque in the version of John Arcadian with all kind of tick boxes. You can give it some special abilities, you can take some special abilities away, you can really build your own beast out of this to keep your players guessing. And we all know some of these high level encounters can become very hectic, so you can really keep track of everything you are doing and the Tarrasque is able to do within this encounter. Everything in this book is really built to start using it immediately. It is almost impossible not to be able to run the Tarrasque like it should be run if you have this book on your person. Because, for example, there is this big picture of the Tarrasque with all of its insights, where people can end up, and of course all the effects. For example, when you are close to the heart, you get a different kind of damage than when you're in the stomach. Which I think is a very cool detail, and I will use it when my players are finally going to be put against this vicious beast. And then there is a Tarrasque game log sheet where you can round after round write down what happened, what effects are on the Tarrasque, what effects are on the players, and everything to keep track of it and to keep the encounter going. Because the most important thing, of course, in an encounter like this is keep the ball rolling. While the Tarrasque in the Monsters Manual is basically just a very big, hard-hitting creature, this guy has a lot more depth. Some of these special abilities, well, some of the optional abilities are very cool. For example, the Tarrasque gets a rush ability it can use a few times where it can just rush through some people and knock everybody over and of course deal a shit ton of damage. There is also a rush ability. There is even a lightning breath ability. All very cool. I am not gonna spoil the details. So if you are interested in running an encounter with a Tarrasque that is more than just hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting, if you want your players to be swallowed and you don't know where they will end up and what kind of damage and what kind of effects they will have to take, if you want to use different tactics for the same beast, if you want to use the same beast even a few times and keep your players guessing, you should really look into this book. I am giving one away in my giveaway video in the description below. Also, you can buy it in PDF form and in soft cover form. This one from Drive-Thru RPG. The link is also in the description below. This is really one of those modules you keep on your person. You maybe even keep a secret that you have it. Up until that point, you are about to use it to Tarrasque. So maybe I am a little bit biased because the book carries the same name as my channel, but I do have to admit I really love it. If you want to check one of my other reviews out, or one of my other videos, or my giveaway video, click one of these boxes right here and it will magically teleport you to the right video. I would like to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel, who thumbs up my videos, who comments on my videos. You are a great community. I love every single one of you and I hope your inspiration will guide you.